So what do we got here? Oh no, I did this. God, I don't know how precise this is. I've seen this before. This is awful. I've seen this, and it's horrible that this can even happen. It's very precise. I'm not sure how easily I can reproduce it, but you know, I think I can maybe take a crack at it and see if we can get this to happen. But like this happens to everyone at some point if you play this game too much. Let's see if we can slow it down a little bit and like capture the true essence of what happened here. You've never had it before. It happens to everyone at least once if you play this game for too long. So what's happening here is physics engine jank, to put it simply, but I don't know how to reproduce it perfectly. But you're falling kind of fast here. Right here, what you did was you like tucked yourself into the floor, like just a little bit. This gap that you fell into is like just ever so slightly too small to fit the player. But the way you were falling, I think, you tucked yourself into it just far enough that the game couldn't figure out where to put you physically. Like, you touched this corner right here. Is my cursor getting captured? Yeah, it is. You touched this corner right here. The game tried to push you out to the right instead of pushing you up to the top, just due to the speed at which you hit this corner. And there was nowhere to survive on the right, so it decided to crush you. Like, this right here is the frame that it decided that you died. You see it jittered a little bit there, probably because of some co-op rollback nonsense. But this is corner jank, as far as I'm aware. Let's go ahead and take a crack at this and see if we can reproduce this. Like, there's not really good setups for this, other than just be very, very careful when you see a gap like this. But let's see if we can reproduce this. I think I might be able to get it to happen. I don't know how precise it is. So let me, let's turn that off. Back to Spelunky, and let's go to the culprit himself, Olmec. You can probably get this to happen with like crush blocks and stuff as well. But I believe it's a combination of velocity and how narrow that little smidgen of a gap was. Alright, we don't need this right now. So let's go ahead and warp ourselves to Olmec. Alright, so here he is. So what we're going to do here is, first of all, I'm going to make him brain dead so he doesn't move anymore, so we don't have to worry about like his AI doing stuff. So let me go find the Olmec entity. Active floor Olmec. Not a monster, technically a floor entity. I can go ahead and clear this now. I'm locked to player. Was it 235? Let me just see if I remember what the number was. Now let's go, 235. Alright, so let's get entity 35. And actually, before I do that, let me quickly use the entity tester. I should be able to just grab Olmec with this. No, I didn't program it to be able to pick Olmec because he's technically not a creature. 235. I didn't mean to do that. Don't worry about the save state thing. That is extremely experimental, and my game will probably crash if I press load state. I'm looking for the phase. I think attack phase. If you set it to 3, that's Olmec being in the lava. So let's try that. At some point here, I'll make it so I can use this to edit those values, but they're read-only right now. A lot of work in progress stuff here. So phase 3 should make him brain dead. I don't think he'll move anymore. There we go. Okay, so it's actually eerily similar to this here, but this gap is not big enough, I think. And you kind of like tucked yourself into this. Like, this is kind of what the game tried to do, I think, except you didn't have God mode and it killed you. So the question is, can I inch Olmec over to the side and get a lineup where this will just kill me? So we can figure this out by looking at the size of his hitbox. So we get hitbox if I learned how to type. Can you believe I'm a software developer and I don't know how to type? Alright, so we want the left side of the hitbox. Right there. That's like almost exactly half a gap. And the width of the player hitbox, for anybody who's wondering, is I think it's... I don't remember what it is actually off the top of my head, so let's just find out. That is... oh my god, those are some good typing skills right there. The width of the player hitbox is 0.56. So a little bit more than half a tile. One tile is 1 unit. So what we want here is we want a gap that is like just barely too small to fit the player, and then we want to fall into it with a sufficiently high speed and see if that'll get us to get crushed. So I need to move Olmec over a little bit. So Olmec is actually, I think, perfectly aligned on the x-axis. So the current gap we're looking at is pretty much 0.5, like between this here and this here. We need to move it over just a little bit. So let's actually move it 0.05 and see if that'll get it for us. I need to lock his position to be able to edit with this. There we go. All right, let's see how this works. So now we have a very, very tight gap. But it's still not enough. That is still not enough to kill me. If we look at the size of this gap now, I can just look at the left side of his box. The right side of this tile is 13.5. Alright, so that's the size of the gap, and the player's hitbox is 1/100th of a unit wider than that, and it looks like we're not getting a setup that is spawning blood. I'll try this without God mode on if I can't get this to work, but I feel like this should do it. So let's try a little bit wider. So let's move Olmec over just another 0.5 or something. And again, I gotta lock his position. I might as well just leave that locked. Alright, so once again, we got a little gap here. Very small. Will this do it? But again, I see this clip fairly rarely, so this might be really difficult to do, and it might also have something to do with you coming in with a jetpack from an unusual height. So let's do a little jetpack boosting each time we try this, just to see if we improve our odds of getting it to happen. Nope, it's not doing it yet. And again, I think I would see a blood splatter if I got the alignment to occur. So still nothing. Let's move Olmec over just a teensy bit more. So this right here should be like as close as it gets. So this is the size of this gap. And this number here, I know these are a little hard to read. Let me actually make this a little less shitty for chat. There you go, you can actually read the numbers now. So this here is the size of that gap, and this is the size of the player hitbox. If you get yourself far enough in the floor. That's what I'm trying to do, but if you look at the clip, like, AJ here just kind of hovered, like, right around here and then dropped into the gap, so it wasn't like a very high speed collision. That's cursed. This might be it right here. I'm gonna turn off God mode. Let's see if that kills me. Ooh, not quite. Oh, that's terrifying to even see the game doing something like this. But it's not actually killing me. Oh, there we go. There it is. Yep, so it's just kind of, you need a really, really close gap, and then you need to fall into it, like with a specific speed. Like, it's disgusting. But yeah, that's what happened. So there you go, I reproduced it for you. Like, it's very, very precise. So pretty much you got insanely unlucky that you managed to do this. But I have seen this happen before, and I'm pretty sure this is exactly what it is. It's just... Again, the numeric difference here between these two values, let me move to the right a bit, is minuscule. Like, we're talking 10,000ths of a unit difference here. This is a single 1,000th of a unit, like, too small to fit the player, is what this particular one was. So, like, this can happen. Like, in theory, a random Olmec position has a 1 in 1,000 chance of being in the spot where falling into this gap would kill you like that. Like something to that effect. I'm not going to give like hard numbers for that because I don't know what the minimum and the maximum are, and it seems like it depends largely on how fast you're moving. There you go, I got a first try that time. But just be wary of that. If the gap looks too small, don't go for it. It's just not worth it. So, did that answer your question? Or, I mean, it wasn't really a question, but does that satisfy your curiosity for why you died in that run? It's just one of those things that you need to be very careful of when you're playing this dumpster fire of a game, because this game does not care. And it is a very, very precise gap. You see how much space I have here between the pink box and the blue one? And then on this side we have essentially zero space. And I don't know how close I can get this. I'll move Olmec like maybe one more time just to see what happens if it's exact. So this is... That right there should be exactly the width of the player box. So let's see what the difference is here. Yeah, so this is floating point precision here. The gap between here is just minutely, like 1 unit of least precision, bigger than the size of the player hitbox. And you can see that's actually survivable. That doesn't kill you. So like that's how tight the margin was for that. It was basically like 1,000th of a unit is what you were working with there. And if I go ahead and set this to like maybe 5, let's just try 99 instead. It looks like it rounded up. It's actually still 99. We have that jank again, so that's probably gonna kill me. Oh, it didn't. It actually let me in. That is so scary. It actually let me in. Oh, that's horrifying. How close this is to just death. Oh my god, this is just... If this was a real run, I would be so frightened to be in this situation here. But yeah, you can actually survive this one. This one doesn't crush you for some reason. That's 599, so if we set that to like 98, I wonder if that would kill you. I'm not going to try every value here, I'm just curious. No, that one's just fine. Try 595. This is something where I would eventually whip out the binary search tool and try to figure it out from there, but I'm not sure what I have to gain from digging into this other than we know that this can happen. See, these gaps are a little too wide. What I'm doing is I'm slowly moving Olmec to the left, just barely tightening the gap is what we're doing here. And it could be that I'm also just not falling at the correct angle to get the depth when I want to. Yeah, it's not really happening. So if I go ahead and set this back to the one that I'm pretty sure we saw the kill. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so it's... Don't get unlucky. That's really all there is to this. Any other questions about this? So least common denominator of velocity and acceleration. There might be some possible fraction. I think after you move Olmec a few times, the floating point precision kind of squanders any like alignments that you would think you'd be able to have, because most values in this game move in like fractions of like 10, which do not convert well to binary. So if we wake up Olmec's brain again, let's and just like analyze his position for a little bit, we can see like what he's actually doing here. Let me see if I can get a high value like feed of his position. I'm gonna make him basically jump around a little bit at random. And then I'm going to check his position to see if it like has any semblance of precision to it. Get out of here, stop making noise. Alright, so if we do stuff like this is stuff you would normally see people doing while fighting Olmec. So I'm going to fight Olmec for this phase without doing like any super precise alignments and just see like where he winds up like at the end of this. Because if I tuck myself into a wall, he might do a specific lineup, which I don't really want to see here. But if I do stuff like this, like... Let's see what he does. That might have actually lined him up a little bit. No, let's just kind of stand here. I'm surprised I survived that. Alright, so if let's pause for a second here. Let's see. I need to get his exact coordinates now, so let's see. He's 235. Promise I know how to type. I'm just embarrassing. Yeah, you see that value there? That doesn't really correlate to anything. Let me delete the terrain so you can actually see it. There, that value right there, that's Olmec's horizontal position right now, and as you can see, it's kind of a jumbled mess. Like, it's got this right here, like right where I cut it off with my cursor, that's effectively the floating point precision that matters, and Olmec has moved around for like hundreds of frames of like accumulated calculation errors. And essentially, he's in a random alignment. Like, you don't know where he is within that specific frame. So there might be, like, setups that can cause him to do this, but this will just occur eventually over the course of the fight if you just let him move around, like most people would probably fight him. Like, you can get a consistent Olmec fight if you start the level and just immediately run over to him. He'll be 100% the same every time. But if you're fighting him in co-op, who knows where he's going to be by the time you get there. So this could just happen randomly. I believe I have died to this once. In fact, I have died to the bug once as well, the thing that we were talking about here. I died over here. I had Olmec fall down in this spot, and then I tried to tuck down the ladder to his right, and that killed me in the same way that happened in that clip that I was sent. So, like, it can happen over there on the wall near the ladder. It can happen in the floor. It's just insanely precise gaps. The game doesn't, like, push the player out of them correctly. and it just allows you to die to that. So, haha, funny skill issue or something. I mean, that one's not really a skill issue other than just be wary of the gaps. Be very frightened of weird tight spaces in this video game, because this video game does not care